Hi, I'm Claire. Welcome back to my channel. For this week's video, I am going to be doing Miss Griffey's Dino Shell Challenge. So I wanted to build this in the base game world, wait, not Oasis Springs, the Willow Creek, and I built this on the lot in the bottom right corner. Sorry, I had to think about that for a second, but when you pop into this world, your Sims like load in like one part of the house, and then on the gallery it's like the side of the house. So I decided to solve this problem by having two entrances. I mean, see, this is that and part of the house. I kind of separated it by raising it up, also because the kitchen cabinets were like being too tight, and so I thought this would be a fun solution, and it gives some depth and help separate the different spaces of the house. I did try to keep this like an open concept, and so right now we are just going to be working on the like shoe drop area, little entryway, and I wanted to do something different with the coat rack, and so I scooched it into the wall and I put mirrors on it, which I thought was kind of cool. And so now we are just gonna be putting a chest table. Just kind of wanted to put like a skill building item. Wasn't really like sure if I should like close it off a little. I do add like kind of like a wall divider behind that chair, but next to the tile. You'll see that in a minute. So we are just going to be adding some rugs, just making this space kind of feel full. I kind of was having trouble finding items to put in there, and so I told myself, if you find an item that I think will go there, try it when you find it. And so I do use some items from the Snowy Escape pack, and so when your Sims walk into the house, they will take off their shoes. I can kind of see a little sign in the mirror. I don't really like how like big it is, and so I always size it down and like put it in the corner to hide it. And so we are just going to be adding some winter pictures, I guess. And so now we are just going to be adding some curtains. I keep these white curtains throughout the house, and so now we are just going to be going into the kitchen. I kind of made it kind of moody, I guess, with the dark cabinets, but I wanted to bring some Christmas into the house, and so I used this tile from the Parenthood pack. I feel like the red and green really brought the vibes I was wanting, and then the group blue kind of goes with the Christmas tree and the bar stools. So I'm just trying to center the oven, forgetting the word, and the oven doesn't really end up being centered with the cabinet, and so I do just end up adding another oven, which I thought was kind of fun, and that kind of gave the idea of having this home be for a artist and a chef, since there's like two very nice ovens in this kitchen, and making them green just to kind of go with the cabinets. Doesn't like exactly go with the cabinets, but I felt it looked good in the moment. So we are just going to be adding an island. I do have this home for a family of four, so this is a 3 bedroom, 3.5 bath, I think. And so we are just going to be adding some bar stools. I thought those bar stools looked a little like clubby, a little like party like, not like family home, and so I do use these other bar stools that look more neutral, I guess. I wanted there to be like a lot of storage in this kitchen since it's for a chef, and so I add a lot of like counter space, although it's not really much like cooking like prep space, and so I do add another island piece so it's kind of helps like center the stoves and ovens, and so we are just going to be adding a microwave for those nights when the chef is at work and the family doesn't want to cook. And so we are just going to kind of be tying up this space, just going to be adding this little like not activity board, like a parent board and chartboard, and going to be adding just a few like family items, I guess, to kind of help with this idea of it being a family home. And so we are just going to be adding this rug from the Seasons pack. I feel like the black and white kind of helped tie in the colors that I have in the kitchen. And so now we are just going to be going into the living room, which is this kind of fun curved part of the house. And since this is a show challenge, I couldn't change any of the walls or um, exterior. I had to work with what I got, and so this is the only room that was kind of a struggle, and so we are just going to be using these couches from the Snowy Escape pack, and this garbage can is also from that pack. I like how modern this is and like how it's just simple. I feel like I always use like the same two from the base game, and so here is that wall divider I was talking about. I wanted to use this one because it just kind of helped with like the green walls, and so kind of tied it together. And also the flooring is from Eco Lifestyle. There's not that much items from Eco Lifestyle. Probably could have added more, but we are just going to be going and adding these like armchairs, I think they're called, from Snowy Escape. I wanted there to be at least like at least 5 seats for your Sims to sit, and so we are just going to be moving this garbage can around, trying to find a nice little home for it. And now we are going to be adding this picture from Snowy Escape. I do actually change it out to be a different picture after, or when I was editing this. I'm just like, I don't really like this picture anymore, and so I do switch it out, but you will still see it in the screenshots. So the only way you can know if I actually changed the picture if you go to my gallery ID and download it yourself. I'm not sure exactly what I'll call it, but if you want to play in this house, you can go find it in the description. I always have my like the names of the lot of the house I've built in the description. And so now we are just going to be making a dining room space. I first started off with this table from Seasons, but it was too big for the space, and so I changed it out for another table from the Get Together pack. And so we are just trying to figure out how to, if I like that still, or if I want to switch out for that table. But I do also add a decoration box into this mudroom area that I am really proud of, but I'll talk about that when I get into that room. And so now we are just going to be trying to figure out if what to add on this wall. It is kind of a big blank wall, and so I just decided to add a bookshelf, and then your Sims can go into the like entryway area and read a book. And so we are just going to be adding this one from the city living pack. And so now we are just going to be finding that table. I do cut this out because this is a lot of like, maybe this one, maybe this one. And so we are just going to be adding the same like chairs from the table, or from the first table I chose. And now we are just going to be going in and adding a picture. And so I wanted to add this picture from the base game because this house kind of has some like Asian inspired items, and so I wanted to add a picture kind of representing that. Maybe it's like a grandma from for one of the parents. And so now we are just going to be kind of decorating the bookshelf. There's not really that many like places for things to get like stuck to, and so I just add a bunny and a plant, and I call it good. I want to like over clutter the bookshelf, kind of keep it clean and simple for the guests that you might or might not be having over for dinner. And so we are just going to be adding some posters or like some like city events from the city living pack. I really love using those items. It's just like, oh, maybe they like moved into the city and or like moved from the city, and so they want to take like some like memories with them. And so now we are in this like fun art room that I made. And since one of the parents would be like an artist, I wanted there to be a lot of art easels, and I also used this wallpaper from the high school years pack that looked like they were painting on the walls, and kind of left it a little late so the wallpaper or the paint is dripping. And so I really do like how this space turned out, and so I wanted to bring a little bit more Christmas into the kitchen, and so I add these aprons. And so now we are just going to be tying up this space with some pictures, and I didn't want to like over clutter like the walls just because your Sims will probably be making a lot more paintings. And so we're just going to be moving this little chart board over to this area. And I probably should mention this when I was in the kitchen, but I do add another door by the garage, or garage in air quotes, because I thought it'd be fun to just be like, oh yeah, the garage door isn't working, obviously because there's no garages, but then it's just like, oh, you gotta walk through that door. And so now we are in the mud room, and I use these kind of light blue washing machines to go with the floor tile and to also go with the tile on the walls. I really like how this space turned out. This is, I think, the first mudroom I've done, and so it was a really like fun thing to do, fun thing to experiment with. And we do have a bathroom right off of this room, and I feel like I never do like I or like I feel like I never do show all three bathrooms or like all the bathrooms in the house, and I did for this build. So this is the only bathroom on the first floor, and then we will be going into the top or like the two on the second floor. But first we're just going to be finding a rug for the living room space and for the dining room. And so since I am using laundry day, I wanted to use this rug that like overlaps and has like different patterns. I didn't really have like a style for this house. I feel like it's like traditional boho or traditional eclectic. And since I kind of feel like they maybe the parents maybe like traveled a little bit before they moved into this house, like with the posters from the city living pack, and then just a lot of kind of like different items that I wanted to like incorporate with like oh, they lived here and they lived there. And so we are now on the second level, starting off with a kids room. I wanted to add this little art table from Snowy Escape to be kind of like, oh, they look up to their parent and they want to be an artist like their parent. And so I thought that would be kind of a cute little storytelling. And so we are just going to be kind of figuring out layout. I had to keep this bump out, and so my first thought was adding a little like stuffed animal, but then this art table was like the perfect space. But I do keep the stuffed animal in the room, just kind of show they're maybe just barely became a child, and so they're still kind of in it too. The childish things are they're more of a kid than like a tween. And so we are just going to be adding some pictures and adding some clutter onto this random words onto the side table. And so we are just going to be adding a little like craft box. I thought that'd be fun to like maybe like she wants to or the sim wants to bring their own pencils and markers to a friend's house because their friends don't have good pencils, but since their parents an artist, they want to bring the good stuff. And so we are just going to be adding some pictures, trying to make it kind of cutesy, I guess. And so we are just going to be adding a few more items. I wanted to add this uh, wall decoration that looks like it's like color on the wall, or like colored on the wall. And so now we are just going to be adding some clouds, just kind of finishing up the space. And now we are going to be going into the kind of like open computer loft area. And so I was going to like have like a dedicated office space, but then it ended up being a painting room. And so I use this area for an office. I feel like this is kind of realistic as well. Like maybe the parents don't really want their kid to be alone on the computer, so having it kind of in like a open area where they can easily go up the stairs and check on them would be ideal. And so we are just going to be adding a laundry basket into the kids' room. I had maybe too many laundry baskets, but laundry in The Sims and in real life can sometimes be annoying, and so the more laundry baskets you have, the longer you don't have to do laundry in The Sims, not in real life. And so we are just going to be adding some Christmas cards above the oven. I kind of wanted to add a few more Christmas inspired items, and so that's why I have like the little like paper cutout thing above the kids' window. And so we are just going to be finding a rug and going to be trying to find a picture or like a hanging item to put on the wall just to make it seem filled in, I guess. And so we are just going to be adding a picture in between of these two doors, just again to make it not seem empty. And now we are going to be going into the teens' room. I do add to the window where they can sneak out. I'm not sure if it was because it's winter or because I was testing this out a teen sim, but they could not get like go through that door or the window. So hopefully it works for you. If not, I'm sorry, but it's still like a fun item to have. I wanted to use the item because of another bump out I had to keep, and so I'm just like, let's just make it kind of like a Juliet balcony, and then we can add the window. And so we are just going to be adding some kind of music inspired items into the teens room. I feel like they're also kind of an artist, but they're like also more into music than they are into like paints and markers. But they do like decorating records, they play the guitar, and maybe a cheerleader. I do add like a little microphone thing into the room kind of towards the end, but they have won some awards. I was just trying to make this room seem like The Sim kind of has it going for them, even though they probably don't. And so we are just going to be adding just a few more decorations, trying to keep a clear spot for the window. I should probably also mention I was trying to go through the window when nothing was in the room, so I'm not sure if it was just like the space was too small on the outside. I'm not really sure. I haven't really played with the window that much. I mostly just build in The Sims, and my household that I sometimes play hasn't really needed a chance to use to sneak out, and so we are just going to be now going into the bathroom that the teen and kid would share. And so we are just going to be just kind of adding the normal things again. Add laundry baskets so your Sims don't have to do as much laundry as often. And so we are just going to be adding this cute little like robe onto the door. I thought that'd be like just kind of realistic. And so I don't really know how to like demonstrate one bathroom from another when I'm talking about it, but like I said earlier, I am showing I think yeah all three bathrooms. And so we are just going to be adding some towels, going to be adding just a few pictures, just keeping it simple in here because bathrooms honestly aren't really that interesting, and so we are just going to be adding these pictures that were originally in the mudroom but are no longer, and so now we are going to be going into the primary bedroom of the house. So this is kind of an interesting space. There is a balcony in the front of the bedroom and a balcony in the back of the house bedroom, which the master bedroom does have access to. It is above the curved part of the house, and so I kind of wanted to keep this room like dark with the wallpaper, but I did want to add a little bit of color with the bedding, and so we are just going to be going in and adding some plants and going to be adding a little cheer microphone into the teens room. This is a teens room, and so we are just going to be also adding some pom-poms to go with that cheerleader vibe. The sim is just very into a lot of creative stuff, and so now back into the primary bedroom for the parents. Just going to be adding some decoration onto the dresser. You don't really need to have dressers in the Sims, but it is realistic, and there was the perfect spot with that bump out, and so now we are just going to be kind of trying to lighten up the space. I feel like having this like light flooring kind of balanced with the like pure gray wallpaper, and so we are just going to be adding some side tables. I do change them into a lighter swatch to kind of go with the bedding, and now we are just going to be adding some curtains. I wasn't fully sure exactly like how yellow to make it, but I feel like this does have a good balance of yellow in this space, but I also wasn't sure like how much like wall decorations should be in this space, and so we are just going to be adding just kind of a little bit, it's kind of random, it's just these like wall wooden decorations from the Eco Lifestyle pack, so I guess there's another item I used, and so now we are going to be going into the private balcony off of the primary bedroom. Might be kind of wondering why I'm adding like lounge chairs in the middle of winter. But well, where else would you put lounge chairs if there's not like a separate storage space? And so I feel like it's realistic just to keep them out year round, and so I want to add some like detail onto the balcony, and so I do add these like grids, and so now we are just going to be going out into the backyard, just kind of adding a few things. I do kind of go back and forth between these spaces, and so now we are on the shared balcony. I do add a art easel for the parent, and then I want there's just a perfect spot, and then I wanted there to be a fun little like hangout area. I do also add a like sidewalk painting thing from City Living, but I guess I do show it. I wasn't sure if I showed it or if I added it on later, and so we are just going to go back into the backyard and add a swing set and monkey bars for the kid and teen, and then have area for the rest of for all of them. And so again, you probably wouldn't want to have this out all year round, but there's probably no space for them to keep it out. But I did want there to be a lot of area in the backyard for like snow pals, and so we are going to be going into the screenshots. So I hope you enjoyed watching this video. I post new videos every single Tuesday, so please come back for another some sort of video. I'm also on Instagram if you want to go over there and check me out there. And so I hope you all have an amazing week and a Merry Christmas. Bye!